Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. So in today's video I'm going to talk to you about practice versus learning versus playing guitar and what the differences are. Now for me, practicing guitar is all about taking all of the knowledge I currently have with chords, rhythms, and mixing stuff up and just jamming around with a Beat Buddy pedal or some kind of a drum machine, just so I can work on my timing and tighten up my timing better in different time signatures as well, right? So you got your 3/4, your 4/4, your 6/8, etc., right? So that's one of the things I'll do, and I'll do stuff that's clean, I'll do stuff that's got distortion in it, that sort of thing, and it just depends on the mood I'm in at the time too, right? Once in a while I like to really cut loose, so yep, out comes the distortion, crank the amp up, crank up the Beat Buddy pedal, and just let her wail in here and have fun, you know, and work on all that stuff. The other thing I've been working on for the last couple of years is all this lead stuff, right? You know, and so I'll throw that into the mix when I'm playing and while practicing, and try and see how accurate I can get going back and forth between chording and doing lead notes, that sort of thing, right? And just keeping things going, and keeping on beat with the drummer. That's the big thing. And of course, you know, the beats per minute is a huge thing. So I set the beats per minute, usually about 145, because that's where I'm comfortable at, you know, for doing a lot of stuff. But then I up the ante. You know, I'll turn it up higher and higher and higher until I absolutely cannot play against that drummer, right? Now, the Beat Buddy pedal for standard 4/4 timing with the current drum kit and blues beat, I guess they call it, it tops out at 300 beats per minute. I can't play that fast. I can get up to 200 without a problem, probably squeeze in 225. And it gets quite exhausting doing that kind of speed for long periods. But it's also a great way to work out your muscles, get things going faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, see how fast you can actually play and keep on time, right? Because depending on the kind of music you're into, depends on, you know, that beat of that song, you know. I mean, a lot of songs are like, you know, maybe 100 beats per minute, 119, 135, that sort of thing. You don't start getting into the really super fast beats until you get into stuff like a lot of the metal music and stuff gets really super fast, right? Some of it can anyways. Anyhow, so that's my practice routine, right? And that's what I do. And I also teach myself new chords at the same time when I'm doing my practice routine to add on to that. But the bigger thing is to practice switching between every possible chord combination of all the chords that you know, right? And everybody knows X amount of chords by memory, right? I'm up over a little over 500 in my brain. And there's over 30,000 chords, right? Now, technically, there's only 7 chords, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's it. But there's over 30,000 different combinations of which for different voicings that takes place, right? And they're always adding more chords on all the time. So it can get to be quite a lot. You don't have to learn all 30,000 chords, you know. I don't think anybody could ever possibly remember that many chords unless you have like a photographic or eidetic memory, in which case, yep, you could do it in that case. But the majority of the planet, nope, we got to suffer, and we might remember 1,000, maybe 2,000 if we're lucky, you know. But anyhow, so that's the practice routine. Now, next comes the learning routine, learning a new song, okay? Learning a new song, it's just as simple as download something that you want to learn, pick up the piece, go onto YouTube, watch the video for that song, and learn how it's done, and do your best to mimic it, or get as close as possible as you can to the original artist for how he or she does that song, right? So that's your learning stage. Now you're learning a new song. And until you've learned it, you aren't technically playing it, right? So your learning phase, that's learning, also learning new chords, which, yeah, is part of practice, but also learning new chords is part of your learning phase of learning new songs, because new songs may come up with a new chord. I know recently we were working on a song in church, and I don't know the F7 chord, and it's not in my brain. It should be, but it's not. But the thing is, if I've never run into the requirement for the chord, why bother? And this is from a piece of music that's, she's a couple hundred years old, okay? And they have an F7 in there, and I'm like, no. But I can sub it out for an F, and it sounds virtually the same. Now, the song was never written for guitar, but there are chords there, so if the piano player wanted to chord the song, yep, it's in A flat, and you can do all the flats on the guitar easy enough. Kind of sounds power chorded, though, because that's kind of the way it goes, right? And so if you take a look at your neck is dual, so a G sharp is actually an A flat, right? And your A sharp is actually the same as B flat. So, you know, and the chords are there. So it's like, okay, I can do this, and then I do this. But then when I do that F, it better be on the perfect timing of when the piano player hits their F7, right? Or whatever they're going to do. Because it just doesn't go right. You know, that F7 probably is the best solution, right? For the voicing. Just kind of, you know, even coming right off of the A flat to the F. Yeah. So anyways, there are other options too. You can put a capo on the 3rd fret, rewrite all the music, put her same key, you're still on, you know, your A flat, you know, because you're gonna capo the G here, right? Which when you do an actual G, that's G sharp, which is A flat. So you can actually use a capo and rewrite it for basic chords and avoid a lot of hassles, right? And avoid bad voicing. Anyhow, so capos are very useful tools. Anyhow, so that's kind of your playing routine for learning, right? You learn new songs, you learn how to play them. Now the playing side of the fence, that's when you're actually playing or performing those songs. So once you've learned them, now you've got to put them into practical playing. Now that you've learned how to do them, now you've got to play them. And then playing them becomes the next stage, which is the 4th level, which is you're practicing what you're playing, okay? So the video is titled, you know, practicing versus learning versus playing. To try and make the title any longer would be crazy. So you'll get the gist of this. Practice playing, okay? So now it's time to take your practicing routine, which is your normal stuff, just put it aside. Now you're going to put aside your learning routine because you've now learned the song. Now you're going to practice playing that song, which means you're going to play it by practicing it, then you're going to perform it. Now, not everybody, of course, that plays guitar is performing in front of audiences, let alone friends, except maybe around the campfire, right? But for those of us who play on worship teams or do our own thing in our own little studio here like I do, well, now I've got to perform that piece that I've learned, right? But I got to practice it a lot until I can get it nailed really, really good, which is part of the learning process, right? And then I can put it into practical performance or playing area where I can play that song for you guys and, you know, record it and throw it up on YouTube or Facebook or wherever. Recently I've been putting some stuff actually on Facebook that still hasn't hit my YouTube channel just because I don't want it there yet. Because I don't feel comfortable with where it's sitting at, because this is stuff I've been doing on piano. And I did put a couple piano pieces up though, but there's one I haven't put up yet because I'm just not quite there with it, you know. But I think that if you do a schedule of practicing, you know, and tightening up your timing, working on your chords, because, you know, the big thing, if you want to be a really good guitar player, or even a great or an awesome guitar player, you've got to be accurate with your chords and how you form your chords, so that all your strings ring out properly. You know, that's really important that they ring out. Also very important that you switch your chords on time. So if you can get yourself playing at a fast rate of speed and being accurate and still sounding good without making a mess out of it, then when you do go to slow down, when you need to slow down, you will be far more accurate with your chording and your switching. You'll be able to switch much quicker. So if you take, we call these busker chords, right? You see a lot of guys that are busking and stuff at farmers markets or just on the street. And one of the most popular chord formations you'll see them doing, it takes in place on the pinky. Okay, so your fourth finger on the third fret, all right, which is actually your F sharp. And then you're going to take a C sharp with your third finger, and then you're going to do the rest of it as if it's like a G, a C, an F, right, an A kind of thing, right, and an E. Now, even though this is an A sus4 and this is not an E or an E minor, it's kind of a, I can't remember the actual name of the E itself, like top of my head. I just know how to do it, and I know how to work it into songs, but I still call it an E period or an E minor chord because of a few songs I play. This actually sounds correct, right? So whether I can play it like this or whether I can play it like an E minor, there's not much difference. Right? Very mild difference. And then of course your D is going to be the same D as always, right? If you want a D sus in there, then just drop your pinky or leave your pinky there on the F sharp on the high E string. So when you're playing a tune, F sharp in there. So, you know, that's pretty easy to follow around. You're just not removing these two fingers except when you need to for that D chord, right? And that's a great way to play a boatload of songs and not have to worry about the mess of, you know, so you can save time by actually, right? It's kind of a little slower when you're doing full chords versus, you know, this sort of thing. But this actually adds a lot of body to the chords too, which is nice. You know? So if you play your regular G, or sorry, this G, regular G, big difference. C, it accents it and it gives it a little bit more body, right? Just my opinion. But anyways, so that's the routines. That's what I go through. I wouldn't say every single day, you know, and but you always need that practice time. And practicing is even warming up, you know, call it warming up. So, you know, throw on your drum machine, whatever it happens to be, or metronome. I personally don't like metronomes. I can't follow a metronome if my life depended on it. But a drummer I can follow, right? And so I'm going to give you a little example of that right now, of some of what I do. Now that's at 145 beats per minute. That's not bad, right? Let's turn it up. Now, you think an extra 55 beats a minute wouldn't really be that much more? Some people think, oh, that's only 55 more. That can't be that quick. Oh, yeah? I can pretty much keep up with that for the most part, but then I lose it. But you know what? That's not bad, because you think about it, that's 200 beats per minute. That is really smoking quick. So if you kind of lose it there, we were at 145. So let's try 175. That's 25 beats per minute slower. Okay, so 175, really manageable. I could probably push 180, still be really manageable. 200, it can kind of throw me off at times, right? But the idea here is play fast as you can with the drum beat, stay on beat. You'll definitely hear when you are off, because it's going to make you go, wait a minute, stop. Listen for that first beat to hit. When's that first beat about to hit? And then you get right back into it and you do it again and you keep repeat, repeat, and repeat, and repeat. And you just go through every chord possible for combinations, right? And same as doing your, string bending and little lead lick stuff. Now, again, this does not have to make a lot of musical sense per se. It's a matter of getting muscle memory going, getting speed going in your fingers, especially if you're doing all that stuff, right? Getting your picking up, keeping on time. And that's still 4/4 time, but at 175 beats a minute. So think about some of this stuff. Hopefully the video helped you guys out and gave you some more better ideas of what practicing is, what playing is, what learning actually is all about. They are actual separate entities. How you treat those entities is entirely up to you. But this is how I treat it. Practice is all about letting loose and giving her with the Beat Buddy machine on the electric. Now on an acoustic, it'll be a little bit different because, yeah, you're not playing an acoustic the same way you play this, right? But on the acoustic guitar, which I have, I'll do different routines for that with the acoustic. I'm still going to go through all my chords, but I may or may not use the Beat Buddy. But if I do, I'm of course going to be using it not anywhere near this kind of speed, because never a requirement on the acoustic to ever have to play that kind of speed, ever. At least I've never seen anybody having to do it. But on electric, certainly if you're playing a lot of rock, metal, and stuff like that, I mean, you gotta be fast, you gotta be quick, and you gotta be accurate. And this stuff, even on the electric, will help you with playing the acoustic, especially when you're playing at slower rates on the acoustic. You're still getting the same accuracy control going on, because you've practiced that accuracy, even at high rates of speed. When you do slow down, it helps you on both sides, whether you're playing the acoustic or the electric. Just the electric makes it a lot more fun to go really crazy with and do your power chords and whatnot. The acoustic, you're going to use more bar chords and more regular open chords. The electric, you're going to use a lot more of your, like little lead lick stuff, and you're going to be definitely using a lot of power chords on electric. But you can still play acoustified sounds, of course, on an electric. I have an acoustic simulator built into this amp, so I can sit here with my Les Paul or whatever guitar and play acoustic type stuff, But I'd rather play on the acoustic for that authentic sound. But anyways, guys, that's all I got for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and got a lot out of it. I had fun doing this video for you guys. So thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. See you later. Ciao.